Hi, my name is Donna Judd. I'm going to talk to you about the Communication Accommodation Theory, or CAT. When a speech is to be written and presented to a live audience, the speaker needs to be observant of his listening audience. Because of such diverse cultures around, there might be something that you normally do, like a hand gesture, like thumbs up, or making eye contact that might be considered an insult to someone from another culture in your audience. The Communication Accommodation Theory or CAT takes into consideration the audience and being able to adjust your style of presenting so that you don't insult someone in your audience. The communication accommodation theory was developed in 1971 by Howard Giles, who was a professor of communication at the University of California in Santa Barbara. This theory explains that speakers will adjust their style of speaking to accommodate the audience. Not only will they adjust their language, but they'll adjust their accent, rate of speech, and their dialect. This is from Giles and Copeland in 1991. Accommodation is to be seen as a multi-organized and contextual complex set of alternatives regularly available to communicators in face-to-face talk. It can function to index and achieve solidarity with a dissociation from conversational partner reciprocally or dynamically. When you are shown a baby, a lot of people automatically change their tone and talk to them in baby talk. You do this without thinking or subconsciously. Another example, when you are talking to a foreign person or someone who does not understand English, you tend to speak to them slower, thinking that they will understand you better the slower you speak. These are examples of communication accommodation theory. There have been several studies that show that talking to a baby and the foreign talking to a foreigner is a part of or does show communication accommodation theory. Giles himself performed studies, but one of them is that he showed the interaction of young and the elderly people in business setting using communication accommodation theory as the theoretical framework. Findings demonstrated that elderly people tended to be less accommodating to their younger counterparts. While several other factors came into play, convergence and divergence portions of the theory were used to interpret and explain this phenomenon. This is McCain and Giles, 2006. An example of using communication accommodation theory in everyday life, one example would be if you go on a job interview, you might be more likely to talk with a prestigious accent to impress the interviewer, and this would be a demonstration of upward convergence. Another example, but this is a downward convergence, is a manager talking to his workers with some of them being undereducated or uneducated. The manager might use simpler words and even talk slower. When we talk to other people, we subconsciously change our speech style to accommodate the situation, which would include we change our rate, our accent, and the type of words we use, thinking the listeners would be able to understand it or be more apt to understand what we're saying. Communicators adjust their speech styles, vocal characteristics with others as means of expressing values, attitudes, and intentions. That's Street and Giles from 1982. The communication accommodation theory, or CAT, is an important theory in the business world because there are so many companies that have locations across the world. Knowing how to adjust to the different cultures would be beneficial. When you as a speaker can adjust to the audience, the communication will be more efficient and more pleasant. The audience will be paying attention to the speaker and the topic being discussed and not thinking about the gesture that might have been just used as an insult to them if they were from another culture. So knowing the communication accommodation theory, or CAT, is important for any kind of communicator. Knowing this theory will help any individual who communicates public space, face-to-face, public speaking, or even online communication. Thank you very much.